Right now, somewhere beneath Broadway in New York City, there's a forgotten tunnel. A tunnel that was built in complete secrecy, at night, by candlelight, while the entire city slept above, completely unaware that one man was carving out a revolution directly beneath their feet. This isn't some urban legend. This isn't some creepypasta story your weird cousin told you at Thanksgiving. This actually happened. In 1870, a single inventor defied the most powerful politician in America. He rented a basement. He hired workers who were sworn to secrecy. And for 58 nights, he illegally constructed an underground transportation system that was decades ahead of its time. It had velvet seats, crystal chandeliers, a grand piano, a freaking fountain in the waiting room, and then it vanished, completely erased from history, buried and forgotten for over 40 years until construction workers accidentally broke through a wall in 1912 and discovered something that made zero sense. A pristine subway station, sitting there, untouched, like a time capsule from another era. This is the story of Alfred Ely Beach, the pneumatic subway and the most audacious middle finger ever given to corrupt government in American history. Buckle up, this one gets wild. Let's set the scene. It's the 1860s. New York City is exploding. We're talking about a population that doubled in just 20 years. Nearly 1 million people crammed onto an island that was never designed to hold them. And transportation? An absolute nightmare. The streets were gridlocked with horse-drawn carriages, wagons, carts, and pedestrians all fighting for the same space. We're talking traffic jams that would make modern-day LA look like a go-kart track. But here's the thing that nobody talks about. The horses themselves were a biohazard. Every single day, over 100,000 horses dumped roughly 2.5 million pounds of manure onto New York streets. 2.5 million pounds. Daily, the smell in summer was so bad that wealthy residents would literally flee the city. And when horses died, which happened constantly from exhaustion and disease, their bodies would just rot in the streets for days because there weren't enough workers to remove them. This was New York City, the supposed crown jewel of American progress. People were desperate for a solution. Everyone knew the answer had to be underground. Get the transportation off the streets and beneath them, but there was one massive problem. His name was William Tweed. You might know him better as Boss Tweed, the most corrupt politician in American history, the man who controlled New York City like his personal piggy bank. He ran a political machine called Tammany Hall that had its fingers in absolutely everything. And Boss Tweed had already decided who was going to build New York's Underground Railway. Himself. Through companies he controlled. Using taxpayer money he planned to steal. So when a soft-spoken inventor named Alfred Ely Beach walked into his office with plans for a revolutionary pneumatic subway system, Tweed didn't see innovation. He saw competition. And Boss Tweed had a very simple policy regarding competition. Crush it. So who was Alfred Ely Beach? Here's what makes this story incredible. Beach wasn't some wild-eyed dreamer with no credentials. He was one of the most respected inventors and publishers in America. At age 20, he became co-owner of Scientific American magazine, the same publication that still exists today. He held patents on everything from typewriters to cable railways. The dude was legitimate genius material. But more importantly, Beach was obsessed with one specific technology, pneumatics, the science of using compressed air to move objects through tubes. He'd already built working pneumatic systems for transporting mail and packages, tubes that could shoot capsules across buildings in seconds. And Beach had this crazy idea. What if you scaled it up? What if instead of shooting mail through a tube, you shot an entire train car with passengers inside? He actually built a prototype at the American Institute Fair in 1867, a small demonstration railway that used a giant fan to blow a passenger car through a tube. People went absolutely insane for it. Lines wrapped around the building. Over 100,000 visitors experienced it. Beach knew he had something special, so he applied for a permit to build an underground pneumatic mail system beneath Broadway. 2 small tubes for transporting packages. Totally innocent. Boss Tweed laughed and approved it. Mail tubes? Who cares? That's not competition for his planned elevated railway system. What Tweed didn't know was that Beach had submitted intentionally misleading plans. Those 2 small mail tubes, Beach had zero intention of building them. Instead, he was going to construct something much, much bigger. Here's where the story goes full heist movie. Beach rented the basement of a clothing store called Devlin's at the corner of Broadway and Warren Street in Lower Manhattan. The store owner was paid handsomely to keep his mouth shut. Every night after the store closed and the streets above went quiet, Beach's workers would emerge. They'd been handpicked for their loyalty and their ability to stay silent. Each one was paid well above market rate, and each one understood that if word got out about what they were doing, Boss Tweed would bury them, possibly literally. The excavation happened in total darkness except for candlelight and oil lamps. Workers would dig out the earth, load it into bags, and smuggle it out through the store's basement in the dead of night. Where'd they put all that dirt? They hid it in plain sight, rented nearby buildings and piled it in the basements, scattered it across construction sites throughout the city. Some reports say they even dumped loads into the Hudson River. But Beach wasn't just digging a tunnel. He was building a palace. The waiting room alone was unlike anything New York had ever seen. We're talking frescoed walls, elegant chandeliers, a grandfather clock, plush seating, oil paintings of romantic landscapes, and a fountain with goldfish. This was supposed to be a subway station. Beach built it like a European opera house. The tunnel itself stretched 312 feet beneath Broadway, one full city block, and at the end sat a single cylindrical passenger car that could hold 22 people. A massive fan called the Western Tornado, designed by the Root Company and powered by a steam engine, would push the car through the tube in one direction. Then the fan would reverse, creating suction to pull the car back. The whole journey took about a minute. You'd step into this luxurious car, feel the whoosh of air, and glide beneath the busiest street in America, while everyone above had no idea you existed. 58 nights of secret construction, not a single leak to the press. And then, on February 26th, 1870, Alfred Ely Beach was ready to reveal his masterpiece to the world. Beach invited select journalists and city officials to Devlin's clothing store. They walked through the basement, through a hidden door, down a set of stairs, and into an underground world that made absolutely no sense. The reactions were unanimous shock. Here was this fully functional subway system, complete with a working passenger car, sitting directly beneath Broadway, and nobody had known it existed. Beach gave rides, hundreds of them. People would climb into the cylindrical car, feel the rush of air, and arrive at the other end of the block laughing with disbelief. The New York Herald called it a wonder of the age. Scientific American, Beach's own publication, covered it extensively. Newspapers across the country picked up the story. The public went absolutely insane. In the first year alone, over 400,000 people paid 25 cents each to experience the Beach pneumatic transit. That's equivalent to roughly $6 today. People stood in lines that wrapped around the block just to take a 1-minute ride beneath Broadway. Beach's message was crystal clear. Underground transit works, it's safe, it's clean, it's fast. And I've already proven it can be built without taxpayer money or government corruption. This wasn't just a technological demonstration. It was a direct attack on Boss Tweed. And Boss Tweed noticed. Beach submitted a proposal to extend his pneumatic subway throughout Manhattan, a full citywide system. He had financial backing, he had public support, he had a working prototype. It should have been a slam dunk. But this was Boss Tweed's New York. The state legislature in Albany, thoroughly controlled by Tweed's machine, killed Beach's proposal. Twice. They didn't even pretend to have legitimate reasons. The votes were nakedly corrupt. Beach kept fighting. He rallied public support. He wrote editorials. He gathered petitions with thousands of signatures. Finally, in 1873, a miracle happened. Boss Tweed was arrested for corruption. His political machine was crumbling. The governor of New York personally intervened and approved Beach's subway expansion. Alfred Ely Beach had won, except he hadn't, because the universe has a sick sense of humor. That same year, 1873, the economy collapsed. The Panic of 1873 triggered a depression that lasted 6 years. Banks failed, businesses closed. Investors who had promised Beach millions suddenly had nothing. The subway expansion never happened. Beach's single-block pneumatic tunnel sat there, still operational but going nowhere. Ridership declined as the novelty wore off. Eventually, the tunnel was closed and the entrance sealed. Alfred Ely Beach spent the rest of his life working on other inventions. He never built his citywide subway system. He died in 1896, believing his greatest achievement had been forgotten. He had no idea what would happen 16 years later. February 1912. Construction crews are digging beneath Broadway, excavating for the new BMT subway line. It's brutal work. picks and shovels through rock and earth, and then someone's pick breaks through into empty space. The workers stopped. They peered through the hole into darkness, and what they found made zero sense. A pristine tunnel, a cylindrical passenger car sitting on tracks, an entire underground station untouched for over 40 years. It was like discovering a time capsule. The tunnel had been completely sealed off when Beach's lease expired in 1874. The entrance had been bricked up. The location had been forgotten. Most New Yorkers in 1912 had never even heard of the Beach pneumatic transit. But there it was, a ghost from another era. The station still had its chandeliers, the car still sat on its tracks, ready for passengers who would never come. Even some of the original furniture remained. Newspapers covered the rediscovery with the same wonder they'd shown in 1870. Here was proof that one man had secretly built the future beneath the most crowded city in America. Unfortunately, the tunnel stood in the direct path of the new subway construction. It was demolished within weeks. The elegant station, the pneumatic car, the fountain with goldfish, all of it was destroyed to make way for the B&T City Hall station. Today, if you ride the subway through that section of Lower Manhattan, you pass directly through the space where Beach's tunnel once existed, and almost nobody knows it. Here's what I want you to take away from this story. Alfred Ely Beach didn't just build a subway, he built a statement. He proved that one determined individual could outthink, outwork, and outmaneuver the most powerful corrupt institution in America. He built the future in secret, revealed it to the world, and changed the conversation about what urban transportation could become. New York's modern subway system, which opened in 1904 and now carries over 5 million people daily, exists because people like Beach proved underground transit was possible. Safe, efficient. Every time you ride the subway in New York or Boston or Chicago or any American city with underground transit, you're experiencing the echo of what one man built illegally beneath Broadway over 150 years ago. Boss Tweed died in prison, his empire crumbled, his name synonymous with corruption. Alfred Ely Beach died in obscurity, his tunnel forgotten, his achievement buried. But here's the thing about history. The corrupt get remembered for their crimes. The innovators get remembered for their vision. And I'd argue Beach got the better deal. If this story blew your mind, smash that subscribe button, because we dive into forgotten history like this every single week. Stories that your teachers never told you. Moments that got erased from the textbooks. The wild, weird, and wonderful chapters of American history that deserve to be remembered. Drop a comment and tell me, what other hidden pieces of history do you want us to uncover? And if you want to go deeper down this rabbit hole right now, check out the video on screen. It's another story you've definitely never heard. I'll see you there.